high. Back in 2006, the Wii was impossible to get your hands on. Wii Mania was absolutely insane, which is why I wasn't around to experience it.
People would literally be camped out for days and have lines wrapped around the block just so they can get their hands on a Wii. Wii's would literally be sold out before the store even opened just because they would let people in early to control the lines.
But I think the main reason that people actually wanted the Wii wasn't because it was Nintendo's newest console. It wasn't because of the motion controls, but I actually think it's because you got to play one of the greatest games of all time. Yeah, and that's Sonic Heroes. Yeah, certain models of the Wii were actually compatible with the GameCube, meaning you could play Sonic Heroes on your brand new machine. Second place for the greatest game of all time would be
Virginity. You see, before consoles like the NES and SNES came with pack-in titles, these games normally showed off what the console could do and would be the main reason why people would even buy the console.
Now fast forward to E3 2006 when Nintendo showed off two very important tech demos, those being Wii Sports and Wii Play. Now there's a reason why those games are very, very important to the Wii. The console coming out in a few months, Nintendo actually decided to include a back-end title this time because at the time, no one understood what motion controls were. They just kind of felt like kids' toys. So, it would be very, very important for Nintendo to include the game to show off the brand new technology. Now, the game that was originally supposed to come with the Wii was Wii Play because game creator Shigeru Miyamoto knew that Wii Sports was the greater game. He didn't want to give away such a good title for free. But former Nintendo president Reggie Fils-Aimé was fighting to get Wii Sports to become a pack-in title. Now this made Miyamoto extremely mad because he said, well Reggie, you don't know anything about game design. You don't know how hard it is to make a game, and we are not going to give away something for free.
You know this game sold 82 million copies, right? Now, as I briefly mentioned before, Shigeru Miyamoto and his team were tasked with creating tech demos that showed off the capabilities of the brand new Wii remote. These tech demos will become Wii Sports and Wii Play, but right now, I want to focus on this game. So, Wii Sports has 5 games: tennis, baseball, bowling, golf, and boxing. I think the only way that I can actually talk about Wii Sports is if I were to go in and rate them on a 5-point scale. So that's what I'm gonna do. Tennis is the first and the easiest game in the entire package. At first glance, it's just a couple of people smacking some balls around, but there's more than that. The game is controlled by swinging the Wii remote just like you swing a tennis racket, and how lightly or how hard you actually swing can determine how far the ball will go. Now, one thing about Wii Sports that's different from most games is that you actually don't get to control where your character goes. They just kind of do whatever they want. But I think that works in this game's favor because this game was made for grandmas, and I think if they ever had to press any of these buttons on this controller, I think they'd have an aneurysm. And I can confirm that because almost everybody in my family has had a Wii. And my grandma had 2 of them. All in all, tennis is alright. It's not really something that you love or hate. It's just Wii Sports Tennis. So I'll give it a 3 out of 5. Alright bro, cut the music because baseball, I got problems with this sport. It's easily the worst in the entire game, which is confusing because it plays exactly like tennis does. So, in baseball, you swing the Wii remote just like how you swing a baseball bat. The speed and timing of the swing affects where the ball goes, and after that, you lose control. And this is a problem because it's up to your Mii's to catch the ball. Sometimes they'll literally just stand there and drop it, and once you get into the higher levels of the game, they will go out of their way to catch the ball every single time. And it makes it worse because they can jump 40 feet in the air. And this game is difficult for no reason. 80% of the time, all I can hear is
nice call.
Or it's probably because I suck. You can also play as the pitcher too. It could be fun sometimes, but it's mainly boring. But I think the difficulty of baseball makes getting a home run so much more satisfying. But I'm still giving this game a 2 out of 5. Wii Sports Bowling is easily the best in the entire game. All you gotta do is hold the B button, move the Wii remote back, and then swing it forward like you're playing bowling in real life. You can make small adjustments with the D-pad. If you let go of the B button while the ball is high in the air, you'll have a super straight shot. Or if you let go of the B button while the ball is lower down to the ground, you'll have a super fast shot with a lot of curve. Having all that control over your shots is fun, and it's really impressive how they were able to recreate real-life bowling physics with the game controller. But none of that matters because you can throw the ball backwards and into other people's lanes. That by itself made this a 5 out of 5. Success! Another classic from Wii Sports has to be golf. It's very simple. Hold B, swing the Wii remote, try to get into the hole. Don't hit it too soft, don't hit it too hard. Your actions have consequences. Now, in the past, I regarded golf as one of the worst in the entire game, but now it's my second favorite above bowling, even though it isn't even better. It's probably because it's one of those games that you can play in the dark at 2 o'clock in the morning and not feel like a loser about it. It's a solid 4 out of 5. Now to me, boxing is an underrated gem. It's just like when people say that Sonic Heroes sucks even though it's the greatest game of all time. This is the only game that requires the use of the nunchuck, and the motion controls are nowhere near as good as the Wii remote, but it's still good. We can punch, dodge, and block, and dodging is so satisfying to do because whenever you do it, it slows down the entire world and leaves your enemy open for a counterattack. And now that we're on boxing, I think it's the perfect time to introduce the pro level system. Now in Wii Sports, whenever you beat something, your pro level goes up, meaning that you fight harder opponents, and I think that works perfectly in boxing. The reason why this feature works so well for boxing is because in the earlier matches, those opponents are extremely easy and nobody shows up for your fights. But as you progress, you actually gain a fan base and the opponents start to get harder. And at the very end, you have to fight against the champion Matt, who came out of retirement for one final match. Bro, this dude Matt has no reason to be so old yet so powerful at the same time. This fight is extremely hard, and if this dude hits you one time, you ought to just restart the entire match because this man literally hits like an anime character, bro. Once this man get a hit on you, you are gone, bro. And no matter how many times you knock this man down, you always get back up again.
Didn't even break a sweat.
No, and what makes everything 100 times worse is that half of my inputs were even going through. Bro, I would be swinging the Wii remote and nunchuck as hard as I possibly can and nothing would ever register. And I don't know if it was always like that or it's because the Wii is getting old, but that's a huge issue. Bro, I really want Nintendo to make a Wii Sports boxing game on the Switch. They can literally reuse all the assets and still make it an amazing game. Imagine this big open world game where you have to travel to multiple cities and win championships there. And the story could literally be like you start off as this random boxer that nobody knows about, but then he starts gaining some traction, he gets in this tournament, and he has to travel around the country with his trainer, and at the very end of the game it's revealed that his trainer was like some professional boxer or something, and then you gotta fight him. That would be cool. But Nintendo would never ever do that. I really want to give Wii Sports Boxing a 5 out of 5, but because of that issue, I'm gonna have to give it a 4.5, bro. Now, the only thing left is the training and fitness modes, and I really could go on about these for like an entire video, but I'm just gonna give them a quick little briefing. So the training is basically just a bunch of mini games that focuses on one skill, like how in golf where you have to try to hit these targets, and boxing where you have to dodge Matt throwing balls at you.
Nigga, you gay.
So what the Wii Fitness mode is the game giving you challenges and then adjusts you off your speed, stamina, and balance to determine how old the game thinks you are. You're hearing it here first, folks. The game thinks that the dad from the Cloudy Chance of Meatballs is 37 years old and I am 49. Don't shoot me, I'm just a messenger.
So, that was Wii Sports. It's the most important game for the Wii. Well, actually, it isn't. That would be Sonic Heroes, but without it, I probably would have had sex by now. So, have a good day, have a good night. I don't know how time zones work. And here is Katamari for the PS2.
Caesar.